Let's start the class. Okay. So we are going to learn about the some basics of the Palo Altos and everything. Okay. So before going, just I'm letting you know, in Palo Alto we have mostly we have two kind of certifications which we are doing. One is it's coming below. Okay. In Palo Alto, mostly two kinds of certification we are dealing with. One is PCNSA and one is PCNSE. So I will suggest you go with the PCNSE if anyone want to go for the certifications. Okay, so those things we can discuss later. Okay, so let's start the class. So guys, hope you guys are aware of the basics of all the networkings and everything. And Palo Alto is actually a security device. Okay. Palo Alto is a network security device. We should know that what is network security. Okay, network security. Palo Alto is a network security device. Okay, so we should have know that what is network security first. Okay, it's a demo class, so I can just go with the initials. Okay, the basics. So guys, what would happen in the 1980s when all the switches and routers are included, when the all the computer communications or networking communications were just started. That point of time there was no firewall was there. Okay, what is firewall? I will explain that. Okay, all my PCs, all the users can simply communicate each others with the help of switches. Okay, and they can simply communicate with the switches, hub, bridges, that kind of technologies they used to have. Okay, but they have some restrictions that they can only be a part of. They can only communicate through a one apartment, okay, or one buildings only. They have a restrictions to that. They can only communicate to one apartments, because this is a limitation of the switches or bridge or hubs, whatever they're using. Then the new technology came, and like a router came. Okay, so router and switch is actually helping us to communicate with a long distance even. Okay, if there is a one office and even some far locations, if we have a one more office, they can easily communicate with the help of routers. Okay, all my data can easily be accessible from one network to other network with a long distance. So that time was all good. All my traffic was, successfully going through, successfully accessible. No problem with that. Then what happened in the beginning of 1990s around, what would happen? Some hacking, or hacking means what? Some stealing your data. Someone, a user who is stealing your data. It's called hacker. Okay, stealing your data, stealing data. Okay, so what would happen, guys? Like if you have a network like routers, switches, and in these switches, my two LAN network is connected. What would happen? The hacker can easily come inside your network and can easily get access of your server easily, very easy. Okay, and they steal your data. There was no restrictions here. There was no restrictions. Even if there is some kind of ACL restrictions on the routers, it's also be not that kind of useful. Okay, so what happened then? That kind of then the companies who are making these devices, they're thinking we need some kind of a device who can secure my network. We need some kind of devices who can secure my network. So then they introduce one devices called firewall. What firewall is actually does? What firewall is actually does? Like this is my internet. This is my internet. And if any traffic from the outside, like this is the outside world, okay? This is my office, like this is suppose a router. And then router, there's a switches, LAN switches. And in the LAN switches, my all LAN office, my LAN segment, all the users are connected. Okay. So if any of the users from the internet or outside, okay, want to communicate, if any of the users from the outside want to communicate to my LAN access, like PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, suppose, what would happen once they can simply come to the from the internet, from the router, they can simply come and get the access of my devices. Because these devices, routers and switches, they only know how to route the packet. They can simply route the packet. They will not restrict the packet, or they will not restrict the traffic. Then there's a device came, it's called firewall. What firewall is doing, firewall has some set of parameters. It's following the set of rules. Firewall is actually some set of rules. Firewall has some set of rules. It follows the set of rules, and with the help of set of rules, any traffic from the outside or from inside, even any traffic coming from the internet to the inside, what firewall does, firewall is start checking the traffic. Hey, where do you want to go? So firewall start checking the traffic with the help of source IP address, with the help of destination IP, and with the help of port number, destination port number actually. So what exactly happened? Like if there is a, 1 minute. Like there is my firewall, and like suppose there is my LAN segment. Inside LAN segment, PC1, PC2, PC3, and then there is my internet. Now suppose this any user, this is user 1 who is connected into the outside internet, okay, internet. If this user want to access my LAN segment, suppose the IP of my LAN segment is 10.1.1.1, suppose, okay, and this user IP is suppose 10.2.2.2, suppose I'm using, okay. So if this user 1 want to communicate with this PC1, what would happen? If forward the traffic to the internet, from the internet it come to the firewall, then firewall will check that, hey, what is your source IP? He will check that. Source IP is what here? Source IP is, this user 1 is a source. Who is initiating a traffic? It's called the source, okay? So 10.2.2.2, he is a source. And he want to communicate to this destination, 10.1.1.1, PC1. What is my destination IP here? 10.1.1.1. And suppose he want to communicate on 443, okay, like HTTPS traffic. So port number is HTTPS or 443. So as I said that this is my firewall. Any traffic is going through the firewall. Firewall has some set of rules, policies. Firewall has some set of rules or policies. Firewall will check that this source IP going to the destination 10.1.1.1 with the port 443 is allowed or not. Action is allowed or denied. Firewall has to be checked. Action is allowed or deny. Anyone would be. So suppose if traffic is allowed, so my firewall with the source IP 10.2.2.2 with the destination IP 10.1.1.1 with port number 443, it will allow it. Then only my firewall will allow the traffic. If this traffic is denied in the firewall, suppose my firewall will never allow that. Like if we have some user 2, suppose in the internet we have a user 2 as well, and the IP of user 2 is suppose 10.3.3.3. okay, now this user 2 also want to, now suppose this user 2 also want to communicate this PC1. What would be my traffic? Traffic would be like source IP is 10.3.3.3. Destination IP is what? Like this is my destination here, 10.1.1.1, and port number, suppose he want to access 443 only. But the action is in the firewall, I have created deny policy. Okay, deny. So what would happen in the deny policy? Whenever this user 2 want to access, to my PC1, and the traffic will come to the firewall. Firewall will check the policy. As I said that firewall has a set of rules, or that's called policies. Firewall has set of rules. That's called policies. Firewall will check the policy and find out that the source IP 10.3.3.3 going to the destination 10.1.1.1.1 with the port 443 is denying. So firewall will deny the packet. This user will never get the access of this server, never, because my firewall is behind in between that, and it is dropping the packet or denying the packet. That's what firewall is, just a basic of the firewall. So we understood what firewall is doing. So we understood that firewall is kind of a network security device, and what it does, firewall is a network security device. Okay, we have a two question. Why firewall is directly connect to the internet users directly? Net concept is not here required. Okay, net concept. Someone is asking net concept. We can talk about the net later. Yes, if traffic coming from the internet, net is required, but this is a very basic class, right? It is a demo class. I will not explain all the technologies right here. Okay, guys, why I will explain net here. I'm just explaining that packet flow, right? And firewall can connect to the internet directly. Yes, it can. According to the requirement, firewall can directly connect to your network as well, internet as well. Okay. So what we understood that firewall is a network security device. Okay. And what it does, firewall is a network security device. We understood, yes. But what is actually doing? What is doing? What it is preventing or helping, right? It is preventing the unauthorized access. That's it. This is the basic unauthorized access. The basic definition we got to understand by this, whatever I have explained it. Okay, whatever I explained it, what firewall is doing. Firewall is a network security device, has some set of rules. With the help of set of rules, firewall is preventing the unauthorized access to my network or into my network. So into my network, his firewall is actually protecting my data. Firewall is actually protecting my network. So suppose if this is a hacker, suppose this user 2 is a hacker, and he want to hack or he want to steal your data, he can simply come and get access and steal your data. But now the firewall is there in between. Earlier there was no firewall. There could be some routers. There is no such kind of restrictions is there. So there is some dedicated device. Okay, it's called firewall. Firewall, it could be a hardware or software. Earlier it used to be software as well, but now most of the firewalls are hardware, but it could be software or hardware as well. Okay, so firewall is actually following some set of rules. With the help of set of rules, firewall is preventing the unauthorized access. If you guys will ask what is unauthorized access, let me explain that. If you're going to be a security into the security domain, you should know that what is unauthorized access. Unauthorized access means, like, if this is my server, this is my internal network server, and suppose this is my firewall. I'm just typing firewall here. This is my internet, suppose. Internet. And suppose there are two users. Okay. Just give the same example. Okay. So, like, I am the admin of this firewall of my network. This is my network, PC1. And if I have a given of access of this is user 1, this is user 2. So if I have given the access to user 1 that he can access to my server, he can access, the user 1 can access. Okay, but I have never given access to user 2. User 2, if try to access, it should be blocked. Okay, I don't want that user 2 will get the access. I don't want. So what user 2 try to access? When user 2 try to access the server 1, it means he's trying a unauthorized access. He is not authorized, right? He is not authorized, but he want to access. I don't know why he want to access, but he is not authorized actually to get the access of this server 1. So that kind of connectivity who try to access to my server, which is not allowed actually, or which is not authorized, that's called unauthorized access. So most of the times, whatever the attacks is happening to my network, okay, attacks or some kind of hacking, stealing my data, those are actually are unauthorized access. Okay. Now what we understood till now we understood what is firewall, right? Whatever I explained, that we understood firewall is a software or hardware based network security device which helps the organization to protect from unauthorized access to their private resources, whatever. It monitors incoming and outgoing, whatever the definitions I have written here. Now you guys easily understood with the help of my demonstration, which whatever I have explained it here. Okay. Now we know how important the firewall is into my network. We know that is very important to my network, because without firewalls, I will not able to save my data. And we know that nowadays saving a data, only the data is very, very important. If you are saving or protecting a data, if you protect your data, you are actually a winner, or in your competitive market. Okay. So most of the companies are trying to hack into your network to get to know all the informations, any formulas, whatever, money, whatever the stuffs, informations. They are trying to come inside your network to get all your informations about your organizations, about your country, whatever. So protecting our data is a very tough job. And that's what we are as a network security admin. We are doing to protecting my data, protecting the network of organizations, or even if a country. That's what we are doing, right? So this protecting data or network security is a very big domain, okay, and very important domain. And firewall is playing a very important role here. Okay, so now we know what is firewall. Let's come now. Anyone knows how many types of firewalls? Anyone can please, if anyone knows.
Yeah, checkpoint firewall, Palo Alto, FortiGate,
No,
Juniper.
no, actually.
I
See,
think
Okay.
4 types.
Stateful and stateless firewalls.
exactly. Who said, please tell me your
Me,
name. So
Ashok.
Ashraf, very good.
Ashok.
Ashok, very good. See, um, someone was saying types of firewalls, Palo Alto firewall, checkpoint firewalls.
And
These
that is
are
also me only.
vendor firewalls. Okay, Cisco. These are what? They are creating a firewall. These are the company, or called vendor, Juniper, whatever. They are manufacturing the firewall.
Don't worry, guys, because your lab setup and other thing we will do in next lecture.
Saying something. Okay. So these are the you know what? These are the vendor who was creating or manufacturing the firewall. So that's we can there we can learn later on. But what kind of firewall is, types of firewall? Now we learn what firewall is doing. What is firewall and what firewall is doing, we understood. But how many types of firewall? So there are actually multiple types of firewall, but I'm going to let you explain the around four or five types of firewalls. Okay. The first is packet filter firewall. So packet filter firewall is the first kind of firewall. Okay. First kind of firewall. It means introduce very old or traditional firewalls. You should have known that, guys. It's very, very important. If you're giving any interview, it will ask the first question, what is the types of firewalls? So packet filter firewall is what it's doing. It is only filtering, like this is my firewall and this is my LAN, like this is LAN network. This is suppose any other network. Okay. So source, this PC IP is 10.1.1.1.1. This PC IP is 10.2.2.2. Okay. Now, suppose this PC1 want to access PC2. PC1 want to access PC2. So how many policies we need to, as I said, that firewall is a set of rules. We have to create a policies or a set of rules to allow the communication between the two PC. Before going to that, let me explain here one simple basic things, how a communication would happen. Like this is PC1 and PC2. This PC1 initiate a communication, and then this PC2 will acknowledge it, or reply to the whatever he's initiating. He will reply to that. This is called a successful communication. Okay, always remember, if no one knows, successful communication. What? Okay. What does it mean? Like if I said hi and you reply to me hi, okay, that's called successful communication. Like if this is you and you are opening a Facebook, okay, so from your mobile, what would happen? Your traffic will go to the Facebook server, then Facebook server will reply to your request, then the Facebook page will open into your phone, right? That's what the circle, that's what the successful communication, right? So two-way, first traffic will go to the server and then we'll get a reply from the server. So that's called a successful communication, always remember. So now this is a basic of communication, okay? So now in the packet filter firewall, if this PC 10.1.1.1.1 want to communicate to 10.2.2.2, what would happen? Okay, so here in the firewalls, as I said, that packet filter firewall is an old or traditional kind of firewall. It only check the source IP, destination IP, or port number. That's it. Ports. That's it. Suppose the source IP is suppose 10.1.1.1, and this is the destination IP 10.2.2.2, and port number suppose you want to access 443. Okay, so once an action is allowed, now tell me. Allowed. So if I allow this policy, source IP is 10.1.1.1.1, destination is 10.2.2.2.2, port is 443, action is allowed. If I allow this policy, create this policy into firewall, what would happen? My traffic from the PC1 to PC2 will go easily. Okay, firewall will easily allow from PC1 to PC2 traffic. Okay, but now if the return traffic coming from the PC2 to PC1 will not be go through, will not be passed, it will be block. I'm talking about the packet filter, okay? I'm talking about the packet filter. Yes, traffic, the return traffic when go from the packet 2 to packet 1, it will be blocked. So we have to create one more policy in the firewall. So at that time, the source IP would be PC2 because it's a return traffic. Okay, return traffic is going to. So now the source IP would be 10.2.2.2. What is my destination IP? That would be this source, that 10.1.1.1.1, because the traffic is now reversing, okay, going back, returning reply coming from the PC2, and port number is the same 443. Action is allowed. So we have to create some more other policy like that, then only it will allow the traffic. Okay, with the source 10.2.2.2, destination 10.1.1.1, and the port number 443 and allow. So what do we come to know that in the packet filter firewall, we have to create a two kind of policy for one successful communication. Okay, like one from inbound, one from outbound traffic. Okay, outbound traffic. And the other policy we will open for the return traffic or inbound, whatever, or return traffic. So we have to allow two policies for one successful communication. Okay, so packet filter firewall is not in use. Okay, not in use. Always remember, this is not in use and it is obsolete now. But the concept is same. So now guys, now tell me, for one successful communication, I need two rules, right? Two policy into the firewall. Okay, let me please tell me, for 100 successful communication, how many rules I need to create into the firewall? Anyone?
200.
Very good. 200 rules. And like suppose if you have a 1000 rule, 1000 for 1000 successful communication, I need to create around 2000 rules. So can't it looks like a burden, or it will take a huge memory, it will take a huge time for computing all the policies, right? It's taking a huge, that this firewall will be very slow, because for one successful communication I need to create two policies. That's okay. But if I have a more communication required, like a 1000, 2000, I need to just create a double policies into the firewall. So that's actually hampering my device. That's actually hampering the performance of my firewall, right? So that's why they have introduced a new kind of a firewall that's called stateful firewall. Guys, always remember, nowadays all firewall is a stateful. What is the meaning of stateful? Stateful firewall means it maintain the state table or connection table. Guys, this is very, very important. Need to understand that. What would happen is, just I have shown you the example that this is my firewall and this is the same PC. In the previous example, like 10.1.1.1, this is a PC2, suppose 10.2.2.2. This is the IP of PC1 and PC2. And if PC1 want to access PC2, how many policy we need to create? Okay, just one policy. Source IP here is 10.1.
Option you have available now?
Huh? Sorry? Anyone asking something?
I think someone is
I
on mute and they are speaking.
Okay. You want me to?
Oh, but wait. The other one is a sandwich, right?
Yes, sandwich.
But that is only soft drink.
Yes, so
Let me unmute.
Okay, I'll take this, but not now. After
later.
Someone is ordering sandwich.
Okay, guys. So now source IP is 10.1.1.1. Now destination is 10.2.2.2. And port number is 443. Very simple. Okay. Now the traffic is going from that way. With this policy, action is allowed. With this policy, if I allow this policy in my firewall, this is a source IP, this is a destination IP, port number is 443, and allow. With this policy, my PC1 can easily go through the firewall and reach to the PC2. What would happen if the return traffic is coming? I need to create one more policy? No. That's the beauty of stateful firewall. My firewall is actually maintain a state. Okay, I'm going to explain. My firewall is actually maintain a state. Okay, so when the return traffic is coming, my firewall just check the connection table and it will check that whether the connection is existing or new. It's an existing connection or it's a new connection. Definitely,
Like it will not bother about a source and destination. It will check the table, right?
Exactly. See, it will bother about the source and destination, but the connection is, if the traffic is going from the source to destination, it will create one session here. Okay, and like give any name like one. I'm just going to write here. So I'll give you idea. It will generate one session.
Will be live, then he will check the connection table.
Wait. So he will just generate one session table. What are the information in the session table here or connection table? So whenever if any traffic going from the firewall, what are the connection table information? It will check the source IP. Okay, source IP. So here source IP is 10.1.1.1. Then it will also have a information of source port number. What is source port number? Okay, what is source port number? I'm going to explain. So okay, and then it will also have an information of destination IP. So it's going to the 10.2.2.2. It also has an information of which port number you are using, 443. Okay, this 4 information he should have. Which protocol I am using? Protocol like TCP. 443 is a TCP anyway. And then with this information, it will generate one sequence number. Okay, or some sequence number of connection table, like give a number 1. Okay, session number. That's called a session number. Okay, so what would happen when the traffic is returning back? Firewall will check that, because now return back, now the source IP is changed, right? Earlier the source IP is 10.1.1.1, destination is 10.2.2.2. But when the return traffic is coming, definitely the source IP changed to 10.2.2.2 and destination is become 10.1.1.1, right? Because it's a reply coming. But firewall will check that whether this traffic is an existing connection or new connection. So firewall will check and he find out that I already have information in my connection table with the same traffic, with the same sessions which is generated with the help of sequence number or session number. Here is actually session number. Okay, session number. And then firewall, what it does, it will simply allow the packet. Simply allow the packet. This is what the connection table. Okay, now before going to that, what is source port here? I need to explain that source port. Source port, actually all my PC is randomly generated. Randomly generated. What is source port? We have a from like 0 to, because Americans start counting from 0 anyway, from 0 to 1023, we have a well-known port. Well-known known port. What is well-known port? Well-known port means like these ports are already defined. They're okay, already defined. Like 22 is used for what, guys? SSH, right?
Like the same, we
20
have 3389 and other
Yeah,
things.
exactly. All are already defined. 21 used for telnet,
FTP.
right? FTP, yeah, FTP. 23 for telnet.
80 for HTTP,
80 for
443 for
HTTP, very good. 443 for STTPS, right?
TPS.
So they're
Yeah.
already defined. 49 for TechX, whatever. 636 LDAP, 389 for LDAP.
And some
They're
protocols are for DHCP, DNS, and everything.
DSCP, that's anyway,
53.
yeah, whatever. This is already defined from 0 to 1023. Those ports are already defined. So their features is 22 or 21 is going to be FTP. 23 is going to be used as a telnet only. 480 is going to be used as a STTP only. So these are well-known port. Okay. So how
This is the application or services? SSH is
services?
application
No.
or services?
See, what is the difference between application and services? See that both are same, but which is actually happening, some of the, like we have a transport layer, if you're aware of the all the OSI reference model. So if some services are working at transport layer, so we used to, so that kind of services we say services, which is working at transport layer, and some are working on application layer. So which is working on the, which service working on application layer, we are saying application. It's all depend according to the use. That's it. Anyway,
Like
all are the services.
if we take HTTPS and 443, so at the transport layer we are calling the HTTPS protocol as like a 443. At the application layer we are calling it the HTTPS.
HTTPS. So it's all depend on
So,
the use, how you are using it.
so
Okay.
sorry, sir. Actually, I'm not getting the differences in the book.
So see that HTTPS is what? HTTPS is working on application layer. Okay. HTTP is also working at application layer. 21 is working as application layer. 23 is also working at application layer. But some of the services, like you said 162 DSCP, right? Someone saying DSCP, NTP, these are the port, whatever. Okay. These are working on, these are also services, right? Working on transport layer. Okay. Some UDP port. Okay. So these are also services. All are the services, but which has some application which are working on the application layer, those we are saying application. Okay. Those has some applications, some more, and which are the services which actually only using at the transport layer, we are saying as services. So there's not much difference. Okay. Same like that. Okay. So we have a total number of ports is 0265535. Okay. Out
Sir,
of this,
can we say, sir, sorry, sir, sorry for interrupt. Can we say like every application have a port number?
yes, every application has a port number. Without port number, they will not work, right?
So as we can say, like as defined, the application is 1023. So when we see in the Palo Alto, sir, so there is a maybe 5,000, more than 5,000 applications. So how we can say like a 1024 is a defined port for the application?
Yeah, good question. So 22 is used for SSH and also used for SFTP. Okay. Likewise, some of these are the applications as created. Okay, and all the application has their port. Some application like Skype. Okay, Skype is actually a application. So if you go and check the ports of Skype, it will show you that it is using all TCP and all UDP port. Yes. Some random TCP and UDP port. So some application, their port is something like that. Okay, they're using any random. So according to that, their risk has mentioned. Okay, they are high risk. Okay, so like SSL is using what? 443. HTTPS is using what? 443, right? 443. So most of the services are also using the same port.
Sir, but SSL itself a part of HTTPS, no?
So most of the traffics like web browsing, if you see that HTTP, they're using HTTP web browsing. So it's all depend on the application. There are many different applications, and those applications working on which port, that's all defined. So application is whatever, if like you created one applications which actually is a browser based, and it has some functionality, okay, but that browser based application has to be run by some port. So that port is called services. Okay, guys. Now, most of the applications using the same services.
Sir, I have
So
a question here.
from 0 to
Manpreet, Shafiq here. Are you able to hear me?
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a doubt. Like, okay, here we are commonly application level port is the common factor, right? So after that, there is any other kind of filtering option after this, especially for SSL, especially for HTTP, because both are using 443. So there is any kind of mechanism like in the firewall or somewhere in the technology like that. My question is clear, right?
No, not clear. What kind of filtering you are asking?
Yeah, for example, we are using SSL port level. We are common SSL and HTTP for both are using 443, right? So after that, how specifically we can mention this is to deny or something for the SSL only or HTTP only like that?
Specifically, see that if two things, if I will block 443, okay, if I will block 443, suppose there are multiple services, suppose I'm using there are some applications like Oracle is working on 1521, right? Some services, there are, if you see n number of services are working on 443. Okay, n number of services. If I block and like I'm taking an example of wait a minute. So okay, so like I'm taking one example of one application one. Okay, I'm using a word application one, any application, and application 2 and application 3. Okay, we have a 3 application all running on 443. Okay, all running on 443. Suppose if I block 443 in the firewall for every traffic, what it does, it will block all my 3 application which is running on 443. But if but I only want to block application 1 and I want to allow application 2 and application 3. In this kind of scenarios, I will use that only I will create a restrictions which is only block the application 1. Okay, so if I do such kind of restrictions, so my only application 1 would be blocked and application 2 and application 3 would be work perfectly. So there are 2 different kinds of filtering we can do. So guys, if we will go inside deep into the firewall, right? So then we can understand how we can see that. Okay. Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead.
Sir, my question is that SSL is secure socket layer. HTTPS is a part of secure socket layer, no?
SSL is using a port 443. Okay. So actually, secure socket layer is an application. It is using your 443 port to fulfilling his whatever the features he's using.
Actually,
sir, HTTPS is a part of that or different?
It's not part of that. HTTPS is a what? HTTPS is a TCP protocol, and SSL is using HTTPS. So
okay, SSL will be used to
there could be
certificate, right?
Guys, wait a minute, 1 minute. There could be some other application like app1, suppose. I'm not okay. He's also can use HTTPS services. There could be some multiple like web browsing. If you see web browsing, I don't know. I think web browsing is using HTTP, Okay, but see, there could be secure web browsing which is also using HTTPS. So kind of they're using HTTPS services. Okay, these are the applications which is using the HTTPS. Okay, guys. So let's come to the point.
I lost the connection. So what will happen? You told me the same three application is using port the same port.
Guys,
Then
when I will explain the application, that time please ask. Okay, I have to complete the sessions. Okay, guys, let's go ahead. So out of total source port number, these are the total source port number. Okay, port number out of 0 to 23, as I said that these are well-known port. Okay, it means already defined. Then out from 0 to 1024 to raise 65535, these are actually called random port. Random port. What does it mean, random port? So it's a random port. So what happened if my PC it generate any sessions, my PC generate any sessions, what would happen? It will generate the, so yeah, it has a source IP information, yes, but it will generate the source port randomly. Random port like 4453, whatever 5, it will generate some random port number. So always remember what would happen. What would happen in the connection table? As I said that it creates a session number as well. If any traffic is initiated, what would happen? Like this is 10.1.1.1, this is 10.2.2.2. This basic is need to be understand, guys. What would happen in the connection table? They will have information of source IP, okay, 10.1.1.1, and a source port, which is, as I said, that very unique. Source port is very unique. So like suppose 4501 is a source port. Destination IP is the same 10.2.2.2, and destination port is 443. Action is allowed. Okay. Now this is the one stuffs. Okay. So if traffic is going through the firewall, if the return traffic is coming, there would be one session number, session ID. That's called session ID will also generate it. Okay, like 1. So if that same traffic is returning back, my firewall will check that whether it's a new connection or existing connection, and it will check the connection table. If he will find the information in the connection table with the session ID, he will identify that. And once he finds that it's an existing connection, my firewall will revert the traffic. My firewall will allow the traffic without any policy, not required. So what we came to know that in the stateful firewall, we required only one policy. We required only one rules for one successful communications, right? One rules for one successful communication. Like in unlike to packet filter, in the packet filter firewalls, we required 2 rules for one successful communications, but here it required only 1 rules for one successful communication. So whenever traffic is going through, for return traffic, no required a return the policy for the return traffic, because my firewall is a state. It maintains the state or connection table where it has all the information, and it know that it's a return traffic. It will allow it by having by seeing the data from the connection table. Now there is a
one question.
Yeah, please.
Like if I want to connect from PC1 to PC2, the traffic is allowed, and at that time sequence number will be given. A session number will be given, right? So yeah. And like the same, if I want to connect from PC2 to PC1, it will also generate the port, yes, right?
For each session, there is some different session ID. Okay. Now just tell me.
My question is, if I want to connect from PC2 to PC1, it will also generate some source port, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And that will also random, correct?
Random.
Okay. Like for that particular thing, what will
I'll show you. Better we can see. Like I have just logged in a Google. Okay. And 1 times, 2 times. You can also check. Like I have just initiating a 3 connection. All are Google. Okay. All are Google. Now I will go to my command prompt. United States, sorry, -A. Okay, so wait 2 minutes. Okay. Now this is my IP 192.168.0.105. This is my IP, and this is a random port 52330. This is a random port generated. Now the destination is same. See, and the protocol is destination port is HTTPS. Now in the second traffic, source IP is same, destination IP same, destination port is same. Only the source port is randomly generated. See, these are the source port information. But if you see, my destination IP is also same. Okay, destination port is also same, source IP also same. But how come my PC define the each sessions? It's defining with the help of source port only. That's what I'm going to explain now. Okay, see, so how the important of what is that source port. Now guys, now tell me the same source IP. Okay, now the same PC initiate some other sessions, okay, with the same destination, same port number. What would happen? Like he initiated a source IP is same 10.1.1.1. okay, source IP source port, this is source port. I'm not typing anything. Source port, I'm not typing anything right now. Destination IP is same 10.2.2.2. destination port is same 443. Action is allowed, whatever. What so if now PC1 initiated some different connection, go to the like first connection he initiated from some other browser. Okay, like we know that, right? So this is one session, then this is other session, third session. Likewise, he again initiate the same connection, same source IP, same destination IP, same port number with new session he generated. How come my PC knows that whatever the reply coming, it's coming on to the same first session or second session?
So
they're actually
random port number.
Exactly. The random port number which is generating, that is actually helping to distinguishing the session. So that's actually out of the box, but I'm explaining it. Okay, guys?
Yeah, like that is a random one, right? Like if we need to allow any rule from firewall sites, so
no, not required. Not required to allow a source port. Never. It's a random, not required. Okay. Only we need to allow the destination port. Never. Source port, never. Okay, guys? Okay. So that's what the beauty of stateful. And now we know the difference between of what, not tell me, what is the difference between a packet filter firewall and now you guys aware of, right? Definitely. Packet filter firewall.
Yes.
And stateful firewall. Two difference. Just tell me.
Yeah, packet filter firewall required two set of rules to proceed further the one session, one complete connection.
Exactly.
And stateful is needed only one.
Only one. Yeah. And it is fast,
like
right?
Source to destination, like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it has we will only create a less number of rules here. So the computing power of my firewall and throughput of my firewall, it could be fast, right? Because I only have a very few numbers of rules, but here the number of rules is double, almost double. So the traffic, the packet for the performance of this device is slow or whatever, low. Okay. Only two basic things. Okay, so now after that, we have some more number of firewalls like applications level gateway firewalls. Okay, what is application?
Question here. Sorry to interrupt.
No worry. Yeah.
Sir, like in stateful, the session was created. So the session timing was decided by firewall, or it will be automatically decided?
No. It depends on which protocol you are using, TCP or UDP. If it's TCP, so I think TCP timeout is 1 hour, right? Around 1 hour. UDP is 5 minutes. I'm not sure. 5 minutes. So it's all depend on the timeout value of the protocol which you are using. Okay. So guys, I'm running out of time. Okay, I'm running out of time. So after that, we have application level of firewall. It's just like a proxy. Okay. So we will see on my next class proxy. Then we have a next generation firewall. So next generation firewall, this our Palo Alto is a next generation firewalls. Okay. So So because I'm getting late, guys. Okay. So the next class I will explain what is next generation firewall, what is transparent firewall. Those all things I will explain. Now, guys, we have a vendors of firewall. You guys said that Palo Alto, Juniper, Cisco, Checkpoint. These are the vendors of firewall which are actually creating the firewall, manufacturing the firewall device. So they have their own firewall device. Like Palo Alto is a very, if you see the demand of the Palo Alto everywhere in all over the world is very high in demand. Why? I will explain in the next class, because the next generation firewall which the Palo Alto is manufacturing is the best in the market. Okay. Now on for the certification, if after the class, if you go for the certification, I will recommend you to go for PCNSC. Okay, it's a highest level of certification in the Palo Alto in the network security domain. So go for that. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. Okay.
Manpreet, one thing. Thanks for your efforts and all. Actually, the session is disconnecting multiple times. Even for me, it's disconnected 4 times. Especially, I asked some question and that time it's disconnected.
It could be network issues at your end. Could be. I'm not sure, because lots of students are there and they are they don't have any problem on that. No worry. So you can ask me, or if you have any doubt, anything, so you can ask me on the next class. Next class could be on the next Saturday. Okay. So that's all I've got.
Tomorrow.
I have one concern.
Please.
Like right now, I'm working in Checkpoint Firewall. So I
Okay.
just want to upgrade myself to other firewalls. So I'm planning to go ahead with the 40 net. So which one will be good, 40 net or Palo Alto?
See that both firewall has a very high demand. Okay, but Palo Alto is if you see that nowadays all the companies are moving to cloud. Okay, from a data center, they're all moving to the cloud, means AWS. They're moving to that. If you go to the cloud in the AWS, everywhere you'll find the Palo Alto firewalls. So now Palo Alto firewalls is everywhere. I worked on multiple projects and multiple companies. I have seen everywhere Palo Alto is very, very in high demand. Even I would say that Cisco is also in high demand. Some other device, Fortinet also. But Palo Alto is a high edge. If you have a certification of Palo Alto, it will definitely give you a very good edge into that. For the Checkpoint perspective, I would say that now, because Checkpoint is creating a problem. Okay, it has a bugs inside that.